I'm here to bring you an easy pepperoni pizza with a pre-made crust from French bread. The inspiration for this recipe comes from my youngest son. In the month of February, aka the month of love, I decided to make the most favorite meals of my most favorite people, and now it's Luke's turn. And Luke loves pizza. Pizza is one of those things I think the entire world loves. I mean, what's not to like? There's melty cheese, sweet marinara, and 1,000 options for toppings. The crust is the only thing that makes pizza intimidating to make at home. But that's why I'm bringing you my easy pepperoni pizza with a pre-made crust from French bread. This recipe takes the anxiety out of pizza making with a crust that will come through for you repeatedly. Fresh French bread is split in two and then smothered in olive oil, Italian seasoning, and parmesan. After baking it to a crisp, a combination of fresh mozzarella and shredded mozzarella is layered on top, followed by Luke's favorite, pepperoni. You can feel free to add as many toppings and veggies as you like. I prefer a ton of vegetables, but this one is for my son, and he only wants pepperoni. Let's take a look at the ingredients. We're going to be using shredded mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, 2 loaves of fresh French bread, Parmesan cheese, olive oil, Italian seasoning, marinara, and pepperonis. So I've already taken my serrated knife and I have split the French bread into halves. Now I'm just going to add my olive oil, Parmesan cheese, and Italian seasoning to a small bowl and mix well. And while I'm doing this, I want to tell you a little bit more about my son, especially since he is the reason I'm bringing you this recipe. Luke loves 3 things: pizza, basketball, and villains. First, let's talk about his love for pizza. I'm sure that Luke could eat pizza for every meal and be completely happy about it. He loves it that much. And specifically, he loves pepperoni pizza. As far as toppings go, he doesn't want anything green on his pizza, and he would be devastated to have sausage or hamburger on there too. He just likes it simple. Now, even though he loves pizza, pleasing him with my homemade pizza has been a little bit of a challenge. The crust seems to always be an issue. I've experimented in the kitchen with lots of crust, and there aren't many that he's okay with. I've made homemade pizza dough with yeast and sourdough, and it's failed to impress him. I've ventured into the land of pre-made pizza crust like cauliflower crust and tortillas, and it was still a miss. Even canned pre-made pizza dough like from Pillsbury or frozen dough or crescent rolls, they were all rejected. But French bread came along and we had a breakthrough. After I made this recipe for homemade pizza, he turned to me and said, "This is the best homemade pizza you've ever made." And I would have to agree with him. It is a delicious pizza. My other 2 kiddos made the same remark, and even my husband said that it reminded him of Pizza Hut's deep dish pizza. Wow, that is a compliment. In case you missed what I just did, I mixed those ingredients together in a bowl, and now I'm spreading that olive oil and Parmesan cheese mixture on my French bread halves so that I can put them in the oven and get them nice and toasty. This will keep your French bread from getting soggy when we add the marinara sauce later. Now let's talk about Luke's second love, basketball. And it's not just him, our entire family loves basketball. He's been playing basketball since he was 5 years old. We have a large concrete area at our house with a goal on each end. It's kind of like a mini basketball court, and this is where he plays against his brother and sister. He also goes to a trainer in a nearby city who's been working with him for quite a while to hone his natural abilities. He plays point guard for his school team, but his true position is shooting guard. He has a beautiful shot. And the amazing thing is that even though he's relatively small, in the 3rd grade, he can sink threes and has mastered jump shots beautifully. This past season was his 2nd championship to win in Pee Wee League basketball. He plays on the 5th and 6th grade team, even though he's only in 3rd. We're extremely proud of his passion, discipline, and competitiveness and his talent. It's fun to watch him excel at something he's good at and that he loves and enjoys. I'm just going to put the French bread into a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes, and that was the perfect amount of time to get it nice and toasty. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. It is so pretty, and it already smells amazing. Now we're going to get ready to layer our toppings on our French bread pizza, and the first thing we're going to start with is marinara. Personally, I like Newman's Own. It's just a favorite of mine, but you can use whatever marinara sauce that you like. This is a 24-ounce jar, and I used about 3/4 of it. I didn't use all of it because sometimes if you put too much marinara on there, again, the pizza can get kind of soggy. But I noticed that when I used 3/4 of the jar, it was just the right amount of marinara sauce. Now, let's talk about this villain situation. I know it sounds weird, but it's something that we noticed when he was a lot younger. Whenever Luke would watch a superhero movie, he seemed to always like the bad guys more than the hero. For example, he likes the Joker, Venom, Darth Vader. It's not that he doesn't want the good guy to win, it's just that he prefers the darker characters. And I'm not sure if I should be worried or not, but he tries to come off as strong, tough, and cool. But at home, he's a sweetheart and he loves snuggles, even though he would die if he knew I said that out loud. He's hilarious and he keeps us on our toes and laughing. After I've spread the marinara sauce on the French bread halves, it's time to add our fresh mozzarella. Now, I want to point something out that I did not do, but I totally think you should. This fresh mozzarella is actually packed in olive oil, Italian seasoning, and herbs, and it never dawned on me that that's what I could have used on my French bread when I baked it instead of using my own olive oil and my own parmesan and my own Italian seasoning. That way you can use this entire product. And don't worry, when I finished with the cheese, I put the lid back on it and I put it back in the fridge because I'm going to use that seasoned olive oil for something. This fresh mozzarella gives the French bread pizzas a different texture of cheese. It's just tasty and it's just a little bit different than the shredded mozzarella. After the fresh mozzarella is layered, it's time to add the shredded mozzarella, and I'm going to use the entire package here. You can never have too much cheese. I'm going to spread that evenly on each of these halves, and now it's time for us to add Luke's favorite topping, which is the pepperoni. You might be wondering why I love this recipe so much. It's because it's one of the easiest pizza recipes I've ever made. It doesn't take a lot of prep work and it tastes delicious. I also love the fact that it's completely customizable. You can use popular toppings like cheese, veggies, and different herbs, or you can do something completely adventurous and make your own gourmet pizza, like a seafood pizza or a sushi pizza. It's completely up to you because the possibilities are endless with this recipe. I'm also a fan because it's kid friendly, and that's important to me. It's hard enough getting my kids to eat. I like to prepare things that they truly enjoy. And for the moms and dads out there who hate doing the dishes, you can eat this dinner on a paper towel. No forks, spoons, or knives are needed. Just grab a slice and enjoy. Now I'm placing the French bread pizzas back into the oven. It's at 450 degrees now, and I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes. The last 5 minutes of that total 10 minutes, I like to turn on the broiler and let the pizza and the pepperoni get a little golden brown color. I remove the French bread pizzas straight from the oven onto a large cutting board where I can cut the pizza into slices for serving. You, of course, can do this with a sharp knife or a pizza cutter or a serrated knife or a bench scraper, which is what I decided to use here, and it worked perfectly. This recipe actually makes quite a few slices, so if you're pairing this with a vegetable or a salad, you do not need to probably make 4 of these. One French loaf bread pizza would be enough because that would be 2 halves. That would give you 12 slices of pizza, and these are very thick, so they're very filling. For my family of 5, that would be 2 slices of thick crust pizza and then, of course, their side. And that's plenty to fill them up. But since I did double the recipe, there will be leftovers for tomorrow. So if that's your plan, go for it. I hope this recipe finds its way to your kitchen. I hope you love it as much as we do, and I hope you make it for that special someone in your house, just like my Luke.